Have you ever walked out of a meeting knowing that you saw the whole thing coming before anyone else did? Knowing you had the best ideas, the ones that could actually work? You felt where it was heading. You knew which way it should go. Maybe you even said it out loud. And then somehow when the dust settled, somebody else walked away with the word strategic next to their name and not you. If that's happened to you, take a breath because you are in some good company. Some of the sharpest women I've ever coached have lived that exact moment more than once. I've even lived it myself. So stay with me to the end of this one because I want you to do something a little different today. I'm Jill Avey, a career success coach, and this is Sister Smart Leadership, the show that explores how women can rise from director to vice president and beyond by fully leaning into their feminine energy as their biggest advantage. Let's get you one step closer to the recognition and promotion you deserve. I'm going to walk you through what we call the 5 pillars of strategic leadership. So this is different than a couple episodes when we talked about the big 5 of strategy. These are the internal behaviors, and we're going to talk about mindset, insight, influence, innovation, and impact. These 5 are what move a leader from middle of the org chart to the person the C-suite reaches for when the big seat opens up. So here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to teach you how to do all these 5 today. Honestly, I couldn't if I tried, not in one episode. We take 6 weeks on this inside of our strategic leadership lab for a reason. But here's the thing, though. These 5 pillars are not complicated. They're simple in concept. You'll understand each one of them by the end of the show. The hard part was never understanding them. The hard part is living them day after day in the real moments when you're tired and you're busy. And the easy thing is to slip right back into your old habits. So today, I'm not going to hand you a how-to. I'm going to do something more useful. I'm going to show you what each pillar feels like when it's missing and what it feels like when it's there. So you'll know when you're embodying strategic leadership and when you're not. Because once you can feel the difference, you can't unsee it. And that's where everything starts to change. So this is the first step. So let me tell you why I care about being a strategic leader so much. Strategic perspective, as the leadership skill is called, has been studied across a lot of companies at the most senior levels. And researchers looked at every leadership skill they could measure and asked this one question: which one separates the leaders who rise from the leaders who stall? And the answer was this one: strategic perspective. So companies use this skill to predict who's going to make it. And there's this study by DDI, who's one of the best leadership coaching and teaching companies in the US, that found leaders marked as develop in place scored up to 20 percentiles lower on strategic perspective than their promotable or high potential peers. So every HR department runs some sort of version of this evaluation. Formally or quietly, they sort people into who has the goods and who does not. And so when a senior seat opens up, which group do you think that they reach for? The high potential group. So this is definitely the one you want to be in. And here's a part that I really want you to hear. Women are great leaders. In one set of 1,000 360 reviews, women scored higher than men in 17 out of 19 measures. 17 out of 19. But strategic perspective, we came in at the very bottom, tied for 18th place. So think about that. The one skill that decides who rises, and we are rated lowest on it. This is exactly why this topic lights me up, because I do not believe that the ranking is actually the truth about women. After coaching over 200 women to their next level, here's what I believe. I don't think it's always that women aren't strategic. I think that women aren't being seen as strategic. And there's a difference between those two things, and it's a big one. And here's what nobody explains. Strategy can feel like a private thing, like it happens to us all quietly inside our own thinking, in the dots that you connect long before anyone else does. But strategy that stays tucked inside of you, like a delicious recipe that you never actually cook. It might be the best dish anyone could dream of, and it never leaves your notebook, and your mother-in-law never gets to taste it. Your thinking works the same way. Senior leaders deciding who rises next are not grading the quiet thinking that you do on your own. They can only respond to what you carry out of the kitchen, the recommendations that you say out loud, the way you frame the problem in front of them, the position that you're willing to take where people can see you take it. So as I walk you through these 5 pillars, notice something. Every single one of them's about what becomes visible to the people around you. Like, that's the whole game. So let's feel the difference here. So pillar number 1 is mindset. So here's what it feels like when this one's missing. The day kind of happens to you. You open your laptop and it's already full of other people's fires, and you spend your hours reacting, answering, catching things before they fall. By the time you look up, it's dark outside and you couldn't even tell anybody what you actually moved forward, only that you survived it. You feel a little like a passenger in your own career, and things keep coming at you and you keep handling them. And underneath it, there's this low hum of bracing, like, what's coming at me next? And so let's compare that. Here's what it feels like when this pillar is in place for you. So you still have fires, like that never fully goes away, but you're not the one reacting to the world anymore. Instead, you're leaning into it. You walk in with a sense of, here's what I'm here to move today, and the fires have to fit around that instead of the other way around. So it feels like holding the wheel instead of getting pulled along by the current. And people feel it on you. They can't always name it, but there's this steadiness of someone who's shaping their day rather than being shaped by it. And that steadiness reads as leadership. So our second pillar, and pillar number 2, is insight. So when this one's missing, you live in your lane. To be fair, you were probably rewarded for that your whole career. Stay in your lane, own your function, be the best at your piece, don't step on any toes. So you keep your head down and you tend to the corner of your world beautifully. And here's the feeling that comes with it. You keep getting surprised. A decision comes down from above and you didn't see it coming. A priority shifts and you're scrambling to catch up. You feel slightly on the outside of the big conversations, like things are getting decided in a place that you don't have access to. So here's what it feels like when this pillar's in place. It's like riding up to the top floor and looking out over the whole city. All at once, you can see how the streets feed into each other. You can see the traffic jam forming 6 blocks away long before it ever reaches you. And you start thinking about what is good for the business, not just what's good for your team. And sometimes those two things can pull against each other. And now you can hold that tension instead of just defending your own block. So here's what changes around you. People stop being surprised that you get it. You start speaking to the bigger picture, and the senior folks start to relax because you sound like one of them. You get pulled in earlier into conversations, the ones that happen before the decision's made, not after. That's a completely different seat to be sitting in. And now, pillar number 3, influence. When this pillar's missing, conflict feels personal. There's that one peer. Every time you bring something forward, they push back, and you've started to brace for it. And you walk into the meeting a little tight, half expecting this friction. And so you do one of two things. You avoid it and you go quiet to keep the peace, or you dig in and you push back harder. And either way, it leaves you drained, carrying it home, or replaying it in the shower hours later. And so here's what it feels like when this pillar's in place. The whole thing softens because you stop sitting across from the table from the other person and you start sitting beside them with the problem out in front of you both. So it's not you on one side and them on the other side anymore. It's the two of you side by side looking at the same thing, working it out together. And something almost magical happens when you can do that. The heat goes out of it, and people who used to push back start working with you. And here's the part that gets noticed. Very few people can actually do this. Most folks either avoid conflict or get tangled up in it. And the woman who can sit down in the middle of a hard disagreement and have everyone feel like they're on the same side becomes that person that they want in the meetings when it matters. And that's influence. And it wins their hearts and minds without you ever having to raise your voice. Okay, now our 4th pillar. This is innovation. When this one's missing, you feel a little interchangeable. You're good, you do excellent work, but if you're honest, you're doing it more or less the way everybody else does it. And we learn by copying people around us, but the quiet cost of that is that we start to blur together. And so there's a question that stings a little when this pillar's missing. If you left tomorrow, what would they actually miss? And if the honest answer is a really reliable pair of hands, that's a tender place to be, especially in this marketplace. Reliable hands can be replaced, and reliable hands can be replaced with AI often. So here's what it feels like when this pillar is alive in you. You bring the angle that no one else thought of. It's your idea is the one that can actually be executed and drive impact. You're the one who says the thing that shifts the conversation. And you're the one that connects two ideas that other people have kept separate. You stop blending in. And that feeling that replaces interchangeable is something like being rooted and being valued and being sure that your spot is secure. People know that you bring this unique thing and they say your name when a certain kind of problem comes up. It's like, get her in here. This is exactly her thing. By the way, is your superpower at work. Not doing what everybody else is doing, but a little better, but doing what only you could do out loud where it counts. All right. And now for our final pillar, number 5, impact. So when this pillar is missing, you are busy, so busy. Everything feels urgent. Your list never ends. You're giving 70% to 20 different things, and you're proud of how much you carry because being busy has always felt like being valuable. But here is the part that niggles at your brain in those quiet moments. All that motion, and you're not moving up. You're working harder than the people who are getting promoted around you, and it's not translating. And you can feel that something's off, but you can't quite name it. So here's what it feels like when this pillar clicks into place. You stop trying to do it all. You find what Greg McKeown calls the vital few in his book, Essentialism. This is the small handful of things that actually makes a difference. And you pour yourselves into those things and you let the rest be small. And if it feels uncomfortable at first, honestly, I'll tell you, but letting go and letting things be good enough goes against everything that you've trained yourself to do. I get it. But then something shifts. 20 things at 70% got you overlooked, and 3 things at 100% is going to get you trusted. I still remember one of my favorite bosses, Linda. She drove this notion into my head. I'm 100 ideas a minute kind of gal, and I would come to her with all these amazing plans, and she would ask me, is it going to move the needle? And she asked me that over and over until it finally became natural for me to think that way. And I became known for it, and you can too. For having a sense of what matters, for not drowning yourself in the trivial many. This is what we call everything else on your list. That instinct is knowing where to put your weight is one of the most strategic things a leader can do, and everyone can see it. So do you feel the thread running through all 5? Every one of them changes what people see when they look at you. The reactive doer becomes the steady leader. The heads down specialist becomes the one who can see the whole board. The woman who dreads conflict becomes the one who can sit in the middle of it. The interchangeable pair of hands becomes that irreplaceable voice. The busy one becomes the one who knows what matters. And here's where you end up sitting. You stop having to ask to be included. They start including you. You stop chasing the title, and the title starts moving towards you because people who hand them out can finally picture you in that chair. That word strategic stops floating over your head like a cloud you can't reach. It just becomes one of the words that people use when they describe you. So let's bring this down to the basics. I'm not going to give you homework for this one. I'm going to give you 3 things to notice because noticing is where this all starts. So first, as I walked through those 5, there was probably one that grabbed you. You felt it in your body and you thought, oh, that's one's me. So don't rush past it. That flush of recognition is the most honest data you've got. And that's your starting place. So this week, just catch yourself in one reactive moment. You don't have to fix it. You don't have to do anything. Just notice the moment the day's happening to you instead of the other way around. Seeing it is the first step, and you can't change a pattern that you can't see. And third, ask yourself the honest question. If I left tomorrow, what would they truly miss? And sit with whatever comes up. If the answer makes you feel a little uncomfortable, that's good. This is not a problem to fix today. It's a door, and you just found the handle. So thank you so much for watching today. Here's what I'd love to know. Of those 5 pillars, which ones did you feel the absence of most as I was talking? Mindset, insight, influence, innovation, or impact? Drop it in the comments if you're watching on YouTube. I read every one of them, and I love seeing where you're at on this. Your next step is simple. Pick one pillar that you felt the most, and for 1 week, just watch it. Watch those moments that it's missing and watch the moments that it shows up. Don't try to change anything yet. Just learn how to see it. That awareness is a huge step in the right direction. And if you're ready to stop seeing these 5 and actually start living them alongside a small group of women leaders making the very same move, that's exactly what we do in the Strategic Leadership Lab for Women. Our next cohort starts September 11, And I would love for you to register by August 15th to grab the early bird special. You'll find the link below at sistersmart.com/SLA, and you can get all the details there. So if you're a female leader who wants to make a bigger impact by leading at a higher level in your career, subscribe either on YouTube or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. I'm on a mission to help more women succeed in leadership so our world gets the benefit of what women bring to leadership. And if that's aligned with you, I'd love to have you be part of this community and tune into more episodes on Sister Smart Leadership that will support more success for us all. I'll see you in the next episode. If you're ready to fully lean into your feminine leadership and get promoted from director to vice president and beyond, hit that subscribe button so you'll get all the episodes to come. And check out the recommended video here to see how women are rising up without playing by the old rules that built these male-dominated industries and systems.